There's a person in every room you have ever been in who needs you to know that they are confident. They talk the loudest. They have the most opinions. They make sure their accomplishments land in the conversation, whether the conversation asks for them or not. They perform certainty the way some people perform wealth, loudly, visible, constantly. And if you watch closely, you will notice something. The most genuinely solid people in that same room are usually the quietest ones. Not because they have nothing to say, because they have nothing to prove. That is the difference this code is about. And once you see it clearly, you can't unsee it. I'm Chief. Welcome to Chief Logic. The codes. We are on code 7. Real confidence does not need an audience. Most of what gets called confidence in this culture is not confidence at all. It is the performance of confidence, and there is a significant difference between the two. Real confidence is an internal condition. It is the settled, quiet knowledge that you are capable, that you have value, and that your worth is not up for debate, regardless of who is in the room or what they think of you. It does not require validation. It does not require an audience. It does not get louder when it feels threatened. The performance of confidence is the opposite. It is loud because it's hollow. It is aggressive because it is afraid. It announces itself because deep down it does not fully believe in itself. And it needs the room to confirm what it can't confirm on its own. The person who has to tell you they are not bothered is actually bothered. The person who has to tell you they are unbothered by your opinion just revealed that your opinion matters to them. The person who has to remind you of their status every few minutes is not secure in that status. They are auditioning for it. Real confidence does not audition. It shows up. Here's a simple test for real confidence. How do you behave when nobody is watching? Not when your peers are in the room, not when there is something to gain from appearing strong. When it is just you, your decisions, and zero audience. Do you still hold your standards? Do you still do the work? Do you still move the same discipline and intention you perform publicly? Because real confidence is consistent in private. It does not need the crowd to activate. It does not require their reaction to sustain itself. The version of you that shows up when there is nothing to gain and nobody watching, that is your actual character. That is where real confidence either lives or doesn't live. Build that version. Everything else takes care of itself. Nobody is born needing an audience for their self-worth. That needs gets installed. It gets installed when you grow up in an environment where love was conditional, where praise only came when you performed well enough, where your value was tied to achievement, appearance, or the approval of specific people whose opinion carried weight in your world. When that is the environment you develop in, you learn early that confidence is something you earn from the outside. You learn to read rooms for validation the way other people read rooms for safety. You become skilled at performing strength because performing it is the only way you ever felt it reflected back at you. That is not a character flaw. That is an adaptation. You built the tool the environment required. But at some point, the environment changes and the tool stops serving you. You are no longer in that house. You are no longer in that classroom or that neighborhood or that relationship, but you are still running the same program, still performing for an audience that is no longer even there, still seeking, the confirmation you needed then from people who can't give you what you actually need now. Recognizing where the pattern came from is the first step to breaking it. You are not broken. You are running old software on new hardware, and it's time for an upgrade. Stillness is not weakness. In a culture that rewards noise, staying quiet and grounded reads as powerful to the people who understand power and invisible to the people who don't. Both of those outcomes work in your favor. The people who matter, the ones who are actually watching for substance, they notice the person who does not need the room's attention to feel solid. That stillness communicates more than 100 loud statements ever could. It says, I know who I am. I don't need you to confirm it. I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to operate. That energy can't be copied. You can't fake settled. You can't perform grounded. Either you have done the internal work or you have not. And the room always knows the difference, even when it can't name it. Be still. Be solid. Let the noise belong to everyone else. Here's where this gets personal. I spent years in environments where you had to project strength constantly, where showing uncertainty and weakness was a liability, where the performance of confidence was not just encouraged, it was required for survival. Flint teaches you early that looking unsure in the wrong room at the wrong time has consequences. So I learned to perform it, and I got good at it. But here's what I also learned. The performance is exhausting in a way that compounds quietly over time. Every room you walk into costs energy because you are managing an image instead of just being present. Every interaction becomes a calculation. Every relationship has a layer of performance sitting between you and the other person. And underneath all of that performance, the question that never goes away: if I stop performing, would I still be enough? That question is the real work, not the posture, not the delivery, not the image. The day I started answering that question honestly and building towards a yes that I actually believe, everything changed. Not overnight, not dramatically, quietly, the way real things grow. This is the work Code 7 is pointing you towards. Not louder, deeper, not more visible, more solid. Stop competing with people who are performing. When someone needs to be louder than you, more visible than you, more decorated than you, let them have it. That is not a competition you need to enter. It is not even a real competition. It's an audition for an audience you don't need. Your job is not to outperform the performers. Your job is to be so settled in who you are that, that the performance around you becomes irrelevant to your peace. Confidence that needs to win in a room is fragile. Confidence that does not need the room at all is unshakable. One of those can be taken from you the moment the room stops responding. The other one belongs to you regardless of where you are, who is watching, and whether they are impressed. Build the kind that cannot be taken. Real confidence is specific. Let me show you exactly what it looks like in practice because it's not what most people think. It looks like disagreeing with someone calmly without needing them to come around to your position. You said what you said. You said what you know. You don't need their agreement to feel right. It looks like walking away from a situation that disrespects you without making a speech about it. No announcement, no performance of boundaries, just a quiet exit and a decision that holds. The secure person does not pretend to have answers that they don't have. They say, I don't know. I will find out, and they don't lose a single degree of authority in the process. It looks like letting someone else get the credit for something without needing to correct the record, because your value is not stored in who knows what you did. It's stored in the fact that you did and what that builds over time. It looks like being the least impressive person in the room and being completely fine with that. Actually being fine, not performing fine. That is real confidence, quiet confidence, completely indifferent to the audience. The most confident thing you can do in a room full of noise is nothing. Not nothing as in absent, nothing as in unmoved, unbothered, not as a performance, but as a genuine state of being. When you are truly settled in who you are, other people's opinions become information rather than verdicts. You can hear them, consider them, and decide whether they are useful without your entire sense of self rising and falling on the response. That is freedom, not the freedom to do whatever you want, the freedom to be exactly who you are without needing anyone's permission or applause. Real confidence does not need an audience. It just needs you to keep showing up for yourself, whether anyone is watching or not. Code 7 is a simple truth that takes real work to live. Stillness is not weakness. Quiet is not absence. The person who does not need the room to confirm who they are is the most dangerous and the most free person in that room. You don't build that overnight. You build it by doing the internal work consistently and privately, by holding your standards when nobody is watching, by making decisions based on what you actually value instead of what performs well in front of others, by choosing depth over display every single time the choice presents itself. That's the work. It's not glamorous. It does not get loud reactions, but it builds something that can't be shaken because it was never built for the audience in the first place. If you want a companion for that work, my book is on Amazon and Kindle right now. Chief Logic, 50 Quotes for a Life of Purpose and Power. 50 quotes, final thoughts, and journal prompts built for exactly this kind of internal work. The work that happens away from the audience. The work that actually changes you. Link is in the description. Go get it. Here is your final prompt for Code 7. Write down one area of your life where you are performing confidence instead of actually feeling it. Not to judge yourself, to get honest. Then write down what it would look like to move in that area from a place of genuine solidity instead of performance. What would you do differently? What will you stop doing? What will you no longer need from the people around you? This is where your real confidence is waiting. Think on that. Stay sharp, stay grounded.